So here we have Mr. Mohanvi Joshi. Before he start, I would like to formally introduce and tell you about his actually great deal of depth about wealth creation. So Mr. Mohanvi Joshi, who is a BTech, MIS, IIT, and MBA, is an author, entrepreneur, and wealth creation coach. He is an investor and trader and certified from SEBI, SEBI, and NISM. He is having more than 16 years of experience in capital market and a total of more than 25 years of experience as an entrepreneur. So with that thought, let me invite Mr. Mohan B. Joshi on our show from Praj Academy. Hello, Mr. Joshi. How are you?
Hi, Vikas. Thank you. It's a privilege to be in your show. And thank you so much for inviting and allowing me to have a conversation with the guests you have tonight. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And Mr. Joshi, as you know that during the Corona crisis, many people, I'm sure that you must be getting many of such queries that how to manage the finances and wealth. So that's why we wanted to have this session at this point of time.
Absolutely. So yes, Corona had created a different kind of scenario, which possibly we did not even thought of, right? We never thought about it, that, we had been in the comfort of our offices or whatever kind of means we had to have our regular income, running homes and paying the EMIs. Most of the people been doing that, right? But then Corona has actually broken that regular income, and that's been a matter of concern for many. And we get a lot of inquiries, requirements, requests for learning the skills wherein people can still create wealth, make money, create incomes while being at home. And that's what in fact, we've been much more busier for last 3 months since the time of lockdown, much more busier than what usually we used to be at.
Yeah, and it's a great story, I must say. And with that, the format of this live session would be that for first few minutes, around 10 to 15 minutes, you can share your knowledge and wealth of information that you have for our viewers. And after that, we will have some questions which we have frequently received from our audience, followed by people who want to share their comment and queries. They can definitely write in the comment box below, and we can take them in the end so that we can answer and take most value of your time, which is very precious, as we all know.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
So right now I'll be adding your screen on the screen where you can present.
All right. I had always been very curious about what I've learned from my mentor is to have a context for whatever you want to do in life, right? So let's say you want to be having a very healthy life. They say that create a context which is very powerful such that it drives you. It gives you enough energy to jump out of your bed at maybe 5:30 or 6 o'clock, hit the gym for 2 hours, go for a swimming or go for an hour jogging and keep always fit, right? So that's what most of the successful people do in their life. But when it comes on wealth creation, the kind of context what people have got most of the time is they think about, yes, I need money to fulfill my needs or goals or, financial challenges like a retirement or emergency funds. So what happens? These are great contexts, but they are not sufficient enough to drive you learn a lot, right? So I have always shared two special contexts which I've learned from my mentors. Those are dealing with the inflation. In our day-to-day life, although in our curriculum of learning, we have learned about inflation, but when it comes on saving money and investing that money into the right, that context is completely missing, right? So most of the time people keep their money into the bank in FDs, which gives you around 4%, 5% or 6% at the most, while as your inflation in real life, which hits your pocket in buying groceries, paying your school fee for the kids, or buying milk or buying petrol, everything put together is 15, 16%, which hits your pocket. But does your money grow? Does your saving grow like that? If that doesn't grow like that, you would not be able to become wealthy. So when it comes on wealth creation, first and foremost, context must be to beat the inflation and grow your savings beyond that, right? That's the first thing. And the second thing which we have learned in our elementary mathematics called compounding return. Most of the people do not look at their savings and their investments, that how do I put my money into a place where it can grow with compounding rate of interest. So they would go to the bank. Either the money is in a saving account, which will be giving 3.5% or 3%, or they put it in FD. The FD would be giving somewhere around 5-6% again. But there are avenues where your wealth can grow beyond that. That's what I always say. Create context where you are, when you are putting your hard-earned money into an investment, look at the compounding rate of return, which is very crucial aspect to grow your wealth exponentially, right? Now, the way two doctors or two engineers or two lawyers or two scientists talk about their profession, right? This uses very spatial language. Similarly, the money and wealth also has a very spatial language, right? So we talk about ROI. Most of the time, people will talk about what percentage of return you are getting, right? Or, what is your net worth, or what kind of ROI you are getting, or ROE you are getting, right? Return on equity you are getting. So if you want to be wealthy, you must learn a new language of money and wealth. That's very crucial, because that's how you reprogram your subconscious mind. So you also need to understand there are various sources of income. You need to focus into multiple sources of income rather than just primary source of income, which most of the time you would see gets exhausted in running your homes itself. If your first source of income gets exhausted in running the home, how you are going to get savings? How are you going to get the investments done at right time, right? So second source of income, third source of income, fourth source of income must be created. And always learn a concept of asset and liability. Now, I'm not talking about the asset and liability which you learn when you did your graduation or when you read it in the books. My mentor, Mr. Robert Kiyosaki, talks about the assets and liability completely in a different way, right? That's what I learned from him. And the asset is something which gives you money in your pocket regularly. Liability is most of the time taking money from your pocket. Now, what happens most of the time in our culture, we are trained, or we are kind of programmed that as our income increases, we keep on increasing the liability, right? So bigger house, bigger car, or bigger EMIs. So wealth creation doesn't happen. That's one very crucial aspect of learning the new language. Like learning law of 72, which is very simple. Number of years to double your money is 72 divided by percentage of interest. Considering it is 6, that means your money will double in 12 years period. 12 years to double your money. And with the current rate of interest, it might take 5 years to increase your expenses by 2 times. And with a rate of growth of, let's say, 10%, down the line, 5 years later, you might grow somewhere around 60%, at the most 65%. How about that shortage of 35%? How are you going to fill that up? So second source of income is very crucial for everybody to learn and grow their incomes exponentially by putting savings of your secondary source into investments. Now, you also need to learn what is the psychology of wealth. Now, this again is a slide I have a little bit modified from my mentor, Robert Kiyosaki. You might have read his book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which is one of the influentials in my life. He talks about there are 4 quadrants, like E stands for employee, S stands for self-employed, B stands for businessman, and I stands for investor. Now, if you look at, I have done a little of color coding for it so that you can remember it that way. The employee and the self-employed, they both remain in red. Most of the time they are hand to mouth, or they are running with the EMIs. Why does it happen so? Because they believe in trading their time. They believe they will invest their time and they will earn money from that, right? And that's how their life goes. There are two more quadrants where they believe in systems and procedures. They create large businesses and they make money out of that. Now, investor is another quadrant which invests in businesses, large businesses. He understands how the businesses run. He understands the businessman is the one who makes money. He says, boy, let me chill out, let me relax, let me study their businesses, and let me put my money into their business. If they are doing business well, I will keep on, investing there. I will remain invested. Otherwise, I'll withdraw my money. Right? That's the smart breed everybody should be to create the wealth. The important aspect here is 95% of the people, they run behind either employment or self-employment and run behind that 5% of the money of the world. While as the 95% of the money is chased only by 5%. Now we have a choice. We have a choice, and that choice is always, naturally exhibited or put into actions only if you have a right vision. I'll give you a very simple example, right? And that example starts from, the check nakas. I don't know what a check naka called in English. These are the places where you can catch the laborers, daily wages, the people whom you want them for your home chores, right? You want a carpenter or you want some laborer, right? So you go and you look at that check naka, you talk to the guy, and he says, yes, I'm ready to work, and I'll charge you, let's say, $500 a day, and I would like to, close my day at 5:30, and you're gonna pay me at the end of the day, right? So that's the vision he has got. And below than that, if you look at a beggar, right? His vision is what? क्या बोलता है वो जनरली? अल्लाह के नाम पे दे दो साहब, सुबह से मैंने खाया नहीं है, 10 रुपए दे दो, वड़ा पाव खाऊंगा, right? His vision is just for few hours up to his breakfast. And if breakfast is done, his vision is up to lunch and then to dinner. The laborer has a vision for a day. But at the same check naka, you will find there are few smart laborers. They would say, sir, if you want three or four types of people, how you will be dealing with these people? One thing I'll do is I'll give you my service. I'll bring all these people to your home. You don't need to talk to them. I will get the job done, and you need to pay me weekly. So his vision is weekly. We call him a contractor, right? Small-time contractor. A step above than that, I'm sure now you understand, the next person is the E, that's employee. His vision is only 1 month. He cannot think beyond that. If 2 months he doesn't get the salary, he starts, making his resumes and forwarding it to different places. Yes, there are senior employees, but they could be in the category of, directors. They have bigger vision, and the employee gets a salary while as the management or senior management gets package. They don't get the salary. It's a package. That's where their vision is a year or 2 or 3 years. Beyond that, you will see an entrepreneur, right? Or rather businessman. Now, a businessman doesn't start a business for 5 years or 3 years, right? He starts business thinking that next 5 years, what he will do, 10 years, 10 years later, what he will do, 20 years later, what he will do. That's the vision. And above than that, there is an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur thinks much beyond that, even the businessman. He will think about the time when he will not be even alive. Elon Musk. He's thinking of sending people on different planets. That's a different vision altogether. So our product, or rather our wealth, is a product of our vision. Just not vision, but how we implement that vision, how we start working on it, right? So it's very important to understand whether you want to be living in a category which trades their time for money, or you want to live in a leverage zone where you leverage from your investments, you leverage from your intelligence. You may be writing a book, getting a royalty. It keeps coming to you, right? So understanding which quadrant you want to be, whether you want to chase 95% of the money or you want to change that 5% of money, is a choice you have. But that is what will decide the kind of wealth you will have.
Yes.
Right? So most of the time you would see 95% of the people remain ordinary in terms of wealth throughout the life. They work very hard, but wealth or money is very less. Reason being very simple. You would see 95% of the people would go for a job not for the learning. It's only 5% of the people who would ask, I'm looking for, developing my muscles in this area of expertise. Can I have a mentor? Can I go for this workshop? Can I learn this? They will read the book. Their continuous, the process of learning for them is a lifelong. That's where I say, whether you are going in that queue of 5% or 95% is again you have choice. But that will be what will decide what kind of wealth you will have in your life, right? I hope getting a sense of what
Yes.
makes it. Then there are simple secret
Definitely.
factors in wealth creation: patience, right attitude, learning and acquiring right skills, plan to deal with speed and uncertainty. Right? Life is uncertain, businesses are uncertain, your and my skill sets are uncertain, everything is uncertain, right? Like Corona came, we didn't know that. But had you prepared yourself to deal with it? People ask me how you're dealing with Corona. I say I'm 4 times busier. Why? Because online workshops are happening. But for this preparation, I've been preparing for last 4 years. That's where my online workshops are selling. There are contents which are getting sold, and my day ends at 12 o'clock midnight. There are people in other countries which are taking our services. Planning to deal with speed and uncertainty anytime which life will throw on you, you need to be prepared for. And yes, practice, practice, practice whatever skills you have got until those practices become very natural in your subconscious mind. That's a pure secret for creating wealth, right? My question to the viewers is, whether do you have a plan for wealth creation and investment? Because if you do not have a plan, you cannot take an action, and you will be getting lost in the highways of life. Life is like highways. You do not know go
Yes.
to left or right or where. But if you have a plan, you know where to take a right turn, where to take a left turn. Otherwise, you will become emotional, right? Rome was not built in a day. It took hundreds of years. But if you are young, time to start planning, time to start learning. Because if you want to change the fruit, what is the fruit here? The wealth creation is a fruit. Then first thing is you need to change the root. Now, in this case, the root is on the upper side of our body. The mindset needs to be changed. The learning has to be there. There's no alternate to it, right? Learning curve in life, most of the time we are used to of learning in term of step by step. We passed 10th, we passed 12th, we did graduation, we did post graduation, some of us did PhD, and then like various kind of things, and we've been successful year after year. But in real life, in area of wealth creation, the learning curve is not like that. It goes up, down, up, down, up, down. Point is, when the curve is going up, you are all gung-ho about it. You are in a roller coaster, like you are wow. But are you preparing yourself for the down movement also? That's where the learning is very crucial. And the only way is keep on learning. And your learning maybe first few years, it may not bring the fruits to you. Consider your learning will be like a bamboo tree. How many years, when you sow the bamboo tree seed, it takes not a week, not a month, not a year. Put the seed there, it takes almost 5 years to see the sapling there, right? And then suddenly in 6 weeks time, you see your bamboo tree is grown to 80 feet. That means 8-floor building, 6 weeks. So what it was doing, 5 years, it was preparing that kind of exponential growth. So you want to create wealth, it will take few years of learning for you. Catch hold of right, mentors, catch hold of right books, start preparing yourself for that launch pad, right? That's what is a learning curve for wealth creation, right? My mentors have taught me that, like in our mind, there are various kind of files. There are wealth files, there are poverty files, there are failure files, there are success files, there are health files. These files have been accumulated over a period of time from our childhood onwards, right? They limit us. You can do only this much. You cannot do this. You don't have time. You don't have resources. All kind of bullshit files. They stop you from growing. Now, unless until you work in your psychology, like training your brain. Like, in fact, you introduce me as an engineer. Many of my friends or many of my mentor, introduce me as a clinical psychologist. Yes, that's what I learned for many years, being an engineer. But learning the psychology was crucial because I've got thousands of students and I wanted to help them. So we started a day long program called Train Your Brain for Massive Success. Now, this program does programming on your subconscious mind. Now, your subconscious mind is 6,000 times powerful than your conscious mind. Now, your conscious mind is just 10% of the mind, 90% is subconscious mind. And that 10% of conscious mind, you are using hardly 1 to 2%. At the most, 10%. That 10% overall, that 10% is 1% of overall brain. That means 99% of the brain is not being used by human beings. Just think of how dynamic that brain could be if you get right kind of education, if you get right kind of mentoring, if you get right kind of plan, if you get right kind of learning. That's what is crucial, right? One of my mentors, I'm sure you might have heard about, his name is T. Harv Eker. He says, if you want to grow your money and wealth, you ought to grow. If you grow, your wealth will grow. But most of the time, people want to earn more, but they do not learn how to grow it. That's what is, irony of life. People want more, right? So I'll leave it to you because I think I've taken quite enough of time, and I can go on. I can go on being a trainer and mentor. Like for that goes on for us. Yeah.
I think that's a depth of your topic and your experience that you can keep on going on and on. And when you definitely talked about learning that people don't want to develop themselves, I think that's where the real education is working upon, that how we can create a learning ecosystem for people who actually want to learn. Because we have seen that when people want to learn, they don't find right mentors or right pathways. And that's our objective. And I would come up with that great presentation which you have shared in just a short period of time. I definitely want to ask about that, a personal question from you, that how it all started for you, that when you got this thought process that I should create wealth for myself. Was it a childhood dream or it started in some point of later life?
I would definitely answer that, Vikas. But before that, I really want to appreciate you in terms of having this creation of the real education. Like the time I met you a few years back, and you took my trading and investing training. I've been impressed. I mean, getting a person like you is a bliss in the life, and especially because you have a big dream. You have big dream to provide real education to the people that most of the time is missed out in our universities, in our colleges, in our schools. And that is what would make a difference in the lives of children, upcoming generation we have, right?
Yes.
So Vikas, thank you very much to you and your team for doing that great job. Now, you had asked me that question, that whether it was my dream from the childhood. I would say yes. As a child, I have grown up in my nana's place, and he was an army man, amazing personality. Apart from running that farm, he also had two more businesses. He had shops which were, like seasonal shops kind of thing, right? Once the crops are already sown and it doesn't require much of the maintenance, and he would run those shops. And I've seen enough of money being generated by the end of the day. At the age of 12, when I shifted to my father's home, now, as a youngest child in my nana's family, I never needed to ask for money or anything, like it was always available to me. But when I shifted to my dad's place, it was like, how do I ask him for pocket money or whatever expenses I had, right? So the first meeting with my nana after me shifting to my father's home was, I said that, Nana, I want to do something like you. I want to make my own money. So what I have learned from you is, running a kind of grocery shop. And can I do that? He said, yes, you can do that. And I can tell the suppliers that you would take small quantity of stuff and they will give you the same kind of credit what they are providing me. And that's how my entrepreneurial journey started. I think at the age of 12 and a half or 13, I might have been that time. And one after one, some or other kind of uh, businesses I did. My father comes from typically, a government job, and it was not. I mean, he still doesn't like me doing a business. Of course, in my mother's eyes, I'm still the Buddhu most person in the world, and that's I think every mother would be thinking of this, how this guy would be doing business, right? For him, for her, I'm still a young kiddo. So because it was all the time for me, I have seen the people in my childhood around. The businessmen were always having resources. They may have not hard cash, right? But they were very resourceful. I wanted to be resourceful. I wanted to be surrounded with resources. That's what had been driving me all the time. In fact, when I came out of my engineering college, also I picked up a job which was giving me 1/3 of the salary than what I was getting otherwise. So my friends and my batchmates said, "This guy's a nut." Like others are looking for big jobs, and this guy is looking for a small job. But I was very clear because when my would-be boss interviewed me, I also interviewed him parallelly. I said, "Boss, this is what I want. I want to learn how to do big business like Tata's and Birla's." Uh, he smiled, but he said, "Yes, in this company you can learn that. I'll teach you this." That's where I jumped into that first job of mine. Right. So this was my childhood dream that wanted to be being an entrepreneur. And I'm proud to say that I love that dream and I fulfilled that dream. Like from the core of my heart, I'm an entrepreneur. I'll keep on doing only enterprises and enterprises. That's what I do.
Wow, great. It's a great message and great story, the way you started, and you've seen the both life, that resourceful life and where the life of struggle, and that's how it was motivation for you, that you want to be resourceful to others. Yeah, amazing story. Though you answered it in part in your existing story, but we get a lot of queries around it, that there are so many people who are getting very high paying money, like they are into high paying jobs at very senior position. But when we're talking about resourcefulness or being wealthy, I think there's this vacuum there. So, and they frequently ask, then what is the difference between wealth and money? So your thought on it?
So that's a wonderful question, and I also have friends who, in term of monthly earning, they have much more
Yes.
than me, and but still, at the end of the day, what matters the kind of life you live, right? Uh, Money, let's say I say income. Okay, let me define the income. How does my mentor define the income? So my mentor says the money which comes with a certain frequency and in certain number is income, and almost everybody has got the income. Most of the people have got only one income. A high paying director in an organization or a vice president, he is getting income. And
Yes.
as I said in the beginning, that most of the time we consume that income because as we grow in life, we keep on increasing our expenses, right? So in life, in fact, I'll tell you, there are four equations in life which all go through, right? Those are the first equation is when you start your job and you get, let's say, certain amount, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, and I mean, for boys especially, I would say this because at the end of the day, boys are the one who are behind कि नहीं मेरे पास में इतना wealth होना चाहिए or like इतना money होना चाहिए. So the first thing they would do, they will buy a bike, right? So the job started within few months time, first EMI starts, and you would see that they are in an equation where the income is equal to EMI plus expenses, no savings. Then they grow a little. Now the upbringing is like what? The upbringing is, when you grow up, your parents would say, now we're looking a girl for that. Now the scenario has changed. I'm talking a few years back. So we're looking for a girl, but like if you want a good girl, then the first thing girl's father asks, "Bhai, ladke ko apna ghar to hai na?" Right? So okay, now the boy takes a home loan, another EMI. The girl comes in, and they say, "Boss, bike is not safe. Now you're two." So a car comes in, third EMI. You grow a little more. Your wife says, वो देखा गुप्ता जी के पास में कौन ही मारती है भाई, आप ये छोटी सी हैचबैक गाड़ी लेके बैठे हो, वो सलून चाहिए है, एसयूवी चाहिए है, राइट? सो हमारी नीड्स कभी रुकती नहीं है, and our family environment is like that. You are bound to keep on increasing that. 1 BHK becomes 2, 2 becomes 3, 3 becomes 4, and it never ends, because that's where people never go into the fourth equation, right? So before that fourth equation, the second equation is where you get, income. Now you have grown up, the income has grown up, but EMIs have grown up, and you have got, like, okay, you are not in a negative, you are managing it well. No savings. Now in third equation, now you have grown up as a maybe senior manager or vice president in an organization. Your income is good, your EMIs are big, you are able to meet them, and occasionally you get a incentives and bonus. And then you go home, you tell your your darling wife or partner that I've got this 2 lakh rupees of extra money, bonus. What do we do? What does she say? I'm sure you have experienced it. Right?
Yes.
Like vacation which is pending, right? You were supposed to take me to Europe. Time to go for it. You got money now, right? Or Gupta ji ki wife ka jaisa necklace, right? So money goes again into liability, not in building the asset. So that's the equation number 3. Now, my mentors have taught me, especially, again, I'll talk about Robert Kiyosaki here. He taught me that if you want to be financially free, your way of thinking has to change. Let's say if you are making a lakh rupees a month, first you need to think you are making only 40,000. So you will give your 40,000, 50,000 to your wife. You say, now you run the home from this. And women are amazing. They can run the home from 30,000, from 1 lakh also, from 50 lakh also. They will manage everything. Means they will consume everything and they will provide you a life. So now, what do you do with that extra 50,000 and 60,000? My mentor says, you invest. So the people who have been early financially free, their way of thinking was, my income minus saving is the money I have to run my home. So most of the people, even at a senior level, do not think of this equation 4. This is the equation where you can be financially free early, right? That's what I would like to share in this.
Wow. So it seems that there is a lot to learn, and we are just scratching the surface while talking about that make some saving. There is a lot to learn, and we have started getting questions. But before I ask the question, so viewers, you can post your question in the comment box below, whether you're watching the show on Facebook or on YouTube. We are getting your comments. We will be starting with your comments. But there is one critical thing that has been seen, because people, when they start getting these kicks from the family that they should have something more, they start looking for financial education. But what do they get? In the name of free financial education, most of the financial institution or even some bank starts selling them or talking about some kind of mutual fund that in the name of free education program, they'll be told that they can buy this particular mutual fund. And as we are discussing, so far we haven't discussed anything about mutual fund or that thing. So there is a lot to learn about the subject. So somebody who's a beginner, where they can begin from their journey.
Perfect. So that's a very amazing and very important question, right? So most of the time when you talk to so-called financial planners or so-called financial, advisors, they would sell the some or other kind of plan where they are getting the commission. Now, for an example, I'm not against the mutual funds. At good times they make good money, but at bad times they don't make any money. But yet the fund manager is minting money like anything, right? The bonus is the percentage he gets on managing that. Where from he gets it? He gets from your money.
Okay.
Financials could be as simple as that. One of my mentor, again, I've been fortunate that I've got great mentors. His name is Peter Lynch. He said, learning financial could be as easy as a 5th standard student can learn, provided you are having willingness to learn that. He talked this in context of stock market, of course, where I am involved in, but I'm taking it otherwise as well. I'm taking liberty of quoting him here, right? So the challenge is we have the mindset block there. We think the learning financials or investment is very difficult task, so we need somebody special for that. Yes, for heart surgery definitely you need somebody special, because you cannot cut your own heart, but you can manage your financials yourself by learning them, right? But for that you'll have to read books, you'll have to find out the mentors. Don't go for anything what people are asking you to invest in, but study that, take your informed decisions. That's what I believe in. I've been also advised by mutual fund guys. One of my closest friend runs a mutual fund company, and he has educated me. I really appreciate, I say my Marwadi mentor to him, right? He has really given me a lot of information, a lot of knowledge. Sundays he used to come home, he will have a discussion. I'm talking about some 15, 16 years back, and
Okay.
amazing knowledge he shared. But most of the people, yes, you truly said that मतलब चिपका देते हैं, चिटकाओ म्यूचुअल फंड और some other scheme.
Yes, definitely. We have got one question, and I would definitely like to take it up right now. So, from Bhagwat Upadhyay, that sir, what is the procedure for starting trading from scratch? And while you answer this question, this is a request to other viewers who are watching this program right now to share your comments so that we can see it on screen and ask from Mr. Joshi. Yeah. So, what do you think, Mr. Joshi?
Yeah, Bhagwat, thank you very much for asking that question. The simple procedure is to start a trading account, go and open a demat account, then start from investing. Trading is not something you should start with. Now, I'm a trading coach, I'm also investment coach, but I'm still saying if you do not have any formal education in area of trading, even for investing for that matter, for investing there are funds, there are ETFs and other tools where you can invest. They will not sink your money, but trading can definitely sink your money, right? 90% of the people in trading lose 90% of money within first 90 days itself, matter finished. I'll again repeat, 90% of the people will lose 90% of their money within 90 days, because again, they will not go in the queue where people are learning. They will go in a queue where people are trading. The market is designed completely different. So first, go take 6 months course or 1 year course. That is the first and foremost basic thing. Once you have got your technical analysis clear, fundamental analysis clear, your psychology clear, you can start your trading. It's an amazing field. You have a lot of money, fast money. But my friend, no easy money. There's no easy money in the stock market. There are 4 types of participants in this market called FIIs, big sharks of this market. DIIs, another big sharks. Pros, those are proprietary desks, जो brokers वगैरह हैं उनकी अपनी भी trading होती है, right? That's called pro, or people like us, professionals. And 4th category is called retail traders. Retail traders lose 90% of money. That 90% money goes to these 3 categories. So I would say don't trade unless until you have learned it well. I hope I answered your question. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but that is how it is. And I'm sorry for being a brutally truthful to you.
Yes, and I think that raised one another interesting question. You already talked about the files in our brain and how they impact us. So, do you want to name one file, because you have coached so many people, and you must have seen that what kind of people actually move ahead and create wealth, and what kind of people face that struggle. So, what could be that one differentiating factor in the mindset, or what differentiate these people that who are able to create wealth and who are not?
I'll take up that question. That's amazing question, and not only in the area of wealth, it is in the area of everything. In the area of health or wealth or happiness or joy or anything. So most of the time, I have found that there are 2 kind of people. One, they start something with a, like with a lot of enthusiasm, and they will make their plan, and they would go behind it, and they will learn also, they will go behind it, that learning. Down the line, few months later, they lose the enthusiasm, they lose that dream. That's where I say in my mentoring courses that have a context first, a context which can make you wake up at 5 o'clock morning, like, wow, I'm going to study this. So if you belong to the first category, which does not have context, and you would just take it for कुछ तो करते, what कुछ तूफानी हो जाए, right? So that तूफानी हो जाए वाले लोग ना, वो after few months you would find their enthusiasm died, they don't grow. Then there are some people I found, they would consistently go, they are coachable. The most important thing here is word called being coachable. If you are coachable and you are ready to do everything whatever is required to succeed in life, चाहे वो trading होए, investing होए, learning होए, good health होए, going to gym, going for running, everything, you ought to have that context, enthusiasm maintained, and be coachable to your coaches, whosoever is your coach. In fact, if you ask me, I have 5 coaches who run my life from 6 o'clock, including my health coach. He's much younger, 27-year-old, but amazing guy. His name is Arun. Amazing. He ensures that I grow in that area.
Wow. Yeah? So when I heard your answer, I heard three words. So one was definitely the commitment, the long-term commitment that one is making, the first C. The second C would be the consistency, that you keep on doing it. And third is learning, which is L. So CCL could be the mantra for people if they really want to succeed in any aspect of life, especially health.
Yeah, you can also say that learning is a coachability, right? That is
yes.
And you put it
Great.
Very, thank you. Yeah.
Yes, and we have another question coming from Janvi, and it should be on the screen right now. I'm just showing that. When can we start investing? So is it any particular age that only after that time we should start doing it?
Well, that's a very interesting question, and you should even because you should put your kids also in listening to this. What I'm going to say now. Are they around?
Or they might be watching it online.
All right, wonderful. To ask them to be listening it very carefully. So I had one of the wonderful mentor whom I never met. His name is Warren Buffett. And I have grown up reading his books, his and Charlie Munger's books, and he's supposed to be one of the wealthiest person in terms of donating money, in terms of earning money, in terms of everything. So he had made one comment, which I read many decades back, that he said, I started investing at the age of 11. Until then, I was wasting my time. So you should have started yesterday. If yesterday you covered, start now. Now, there may not be opportunities right now, tomorrow morning or Monday. That's how it should be. There's no time for investing. It should have been started yesteryears.
Having said that, though there might be some age constraints, some practical thing that bank will not open your account, or trading or investing firm will not open your account. So how to overcome that part?
So banks today can open. I opened my son's account, I think, when he was 3.5 years. So banks open, minor account they will open. There are FDs in their names. Yes, Demat account is not open there on their name, but you can open HUF account, which is like where your son's or your daughter's money goes into that account, and you invest that there, right? But
so when somebody
get the learning about, they should get the concept of. In fact, we are planning a mentoring session and a webinar now for the kids. I've been inspired by you when we were talking last time, and we are already in a conversation with my team members, with my other coaches and mentors. So we will be coming up shortly. Maybe by next month, we'll have a workshop webinar for the kids, and that will also slowly progress to the schools and colleges, right? And as you know that Praj Academy has a very clear a
Yes.
gargantuous, rather mammoth vision of creating 1 million millionaires. So I think kids could be the wonderful source for that to fulfill that dream. I'm already mentoring almost 156 kids. I can take few hundred more as now my team has already grown a lot, right?
Wow,
So
I
start.
think lot many people have questions for you because we already have some couple of questions in pipeline, and there are some questions planned. So I will quickly take them up because we are running short of time. So we have this question from Rajesh Mittal. What options are available for investment if somebody don't want to do the trading as trading itself as a full-time work, and everyone can't have an interest in trading? So what is the other option for investing?
That's a wonderful question, Rajesh, and that seems to be a very matured question because if you do not have time and inclination towards trading, you should not. Your most of the time people get attracted to trading because every day you can make 30, 40,000 rupees. So that means the greed has pulled you, right? So as long as you understand that this is a greed component which is inviting you towards trading, trust me, you will not make money also. It has to be a different context altogether. As long as you are not keen on trading, you are keen on investing, there are plenty of asset classes apart from the equities. Of course, if you want to invest in equities, you need to learn about equities. You need to learn fundamental analysis. You need to learn how to evaluate the companies, how to evaluate their financials, the cash flow, the fund flow, how to investigate or do financial audits, because there are a lot of financial frauds in the companies. So वो सब सीखना पड़ता है, right? And the simple way to start with are the ETF funds. Those are exchange traded funds. I would like to show you one small graph, rather chart, if you can share that, which will be useful for many of the people, right? And for that, you need to
Okay,
be passive,
I'll just put it on the screen right now so that it is visible to people.
right?
Yes,
So
it's
now
there.
you can see that. Let me take it way back to 1994, right? So this is 1994 where my cursor is right now. And in 1994, there was an exchange called National Stock Exchange of India, NSE. It was born in 1992, but it became operational in 1994. And that time, it had a value of 100 rupees. जो उसका ETF था, उसका value था 100 rupees. My friends, the stock market has gone from there up, down, up, down. You could see that's uh, 2008 there was a subprime crisis, then UPA government, then NDA government, then in 2016 demonetization, and then again in 2019 we have NDA government and COVID that took market from 12,430 to state 7,511. Half of almost, right? So, but remember that 100 rupees which was put as a seed money has still a value of somewhere around 10,000 rupees, considering Nifty or Nifty Bs at currently is trading at 10,000, right? So if you would have put that 100 rupees there, that would have become today 10,000. सो दिस इज कॉल्ड पैसिव इन्वेस्टिंग. तो जरूरी नहीं है कि आप खाली इक्विटी में इन्वेस्ट करें. स्टार्ट फ्रॉम देयर. व्हेनेवर द मार्केट हैज अ फॉल लाइक दिस, always invest, always invest. Nobody is stopping you. You may have 5,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees, 20,000 rupees. Keep on investing. Don't look at the market is going half or what. On a long run, it will go up. It will go up. You will see 4 years down the line, 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, Nifty will be 20,000, 25,000, 30,000. So is Sensex, right? So investing from the passive asset classes could be started by anybody. In fact, I tell everybody you should start your investment first from there and see your money growing. Right? I hope that answers his question.
Yes, it definitely answered that question from the user. We got a previous question from someone that during this COVID time, the first thing which is getting impacted is health, and there are many casualties around the world. But the
Right.
second thing which is impacting the people and actually having even the more impact is the financial constraint. Business have been lost. Like people who are on job, many people have been fired, have lost their job, and people who are daily wagers, we can't even think about that what they are doing right now. although we all have that in the background, that practice, that okay, we should have that saving, but most of them are not having that saving and waiting for some EMI to be paid. So
Right.
what can be done? What can be done in this situation, which can create some difference in their life?
So that's a very relevant and very important question, and very apt at this point of time. What can be done? Because at this point of time, I cannot talk about what laborers can do, right? But I can definitely talk about what educated person who's been having a constraint, who had been having a consistent source of income in the past, and how he can prepare for future. That's what I can talk about. That's where my expertise comes. uh, One thing what they can do now is they can start learning new skills. The skills, I'll tell you, I took a digital marketing course. I have done digital marketing courses, but since time of COVID, the value of digital marketing has increased, or the importance has increased, or I need it a lot, right? So I've started learning that. So learning is one aspect of thing which you can do that, and within that you will find a lot many new avenues of earnings would come. I always say that in my workshops that focus on learning. Earning is a byproduct. If you learn, earning will automatically take care of you, right? So especially those people who have lost their jobs, learn right now the skills which can give you source of passive income. And once you get your job back or a new job, don't forget continuously learning that skill, because that learning, which may become today your primary source of income, would become your second source of income when you already have a job in hand. And also, just think of 10 year, 20 year, 30, 40 years later, when you retire, that learning will become your primary source of earning again. So give that importance. Like I say, everybody should be capable of earning until the last breath of theirs. And it can be
Makes a
done.
lot of sense.
Investing could be one, trading is another one, but these are the acquired skills. You need to acquire them. The way if you ask a doctor how many years it takes to be a doctor, right? It's just not 5 years in MBBS. 5 5 years of practice as an MBBS gives you a certificate to start your practice. But a doctor becomes after 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, right? And then he has to do MS or PL, whatever specializations he has to do. That's very crucial.
Yes.
In our areas of life also, we need to do that. So learning is
Yes, makes a lot of sense. Definitely. And we have a similar question from Swarupa here, that sir, as per ongoing situation in worldwide, we were just discussing about the COVID impact, which is impacting very badly to each and every human being. So what is your opinion about on how and what should be the approach about future investment? So people who are already into it, how they can invest and do that safely.
right? So this is an adversity which has brought you an opportunity. This is the time when lot many companies with great value are available below their intrinsic value. Now, what is intrinsic value? Is a fair value. Let's say a stock which has a fair value of 200 rupees is possibly available at 125 rupees right now. So it's a time to invest, right? And as and when the now market is uncertain, it may fall further also. So every dip you can buy. So for that you need to have a plan. So let's say in a dip of when the market fell to 7,511, you could have bought 20%. If market further falls in these dips which you were able to see, you keep on buying in those dips, and over a period of time you will see your stock price is also growing, because the businesses will open sooner or later. These crises are always temporary, and you will come out of it. The world has never
Yes.
been engulfed in the crisis forever. Human beings are very, very innovative. They will always find out the ways to survive and to thrive. The companies will also thrive. Right now it's a time to find out such companies and invest at right time with the right plan. That's what you need to learn.
Right.
Hope.
Makes a lot of sense. That though we are running out of time, but still we have some 3 or 4 questions, and I really want to take them out because I find that they are really relevant. So one quick question coming from Abhishek Mehra: that what according to you is better way of investing, either through equity market or mutual fund? Is there any comparison?
So it depends upon what kind of personality you have. We always say that your investment has to be based upon your personality, right? And even the company you choose has to suit your personality, right? Now, I'm not talking in terms of brands. I'm talking in terms of if you are somebody who wants to be a less risk. There are people who are more risk takers, so they would go in high growth companies. But there are people who would be taking who want to take smaller risks, so they can go into companies which are not growing that fast, but they are large enough. Nothing is going to happen to their businesses. So it depends upon what kind of personality you have, what is your long term vision, and if you don't understand anything but you still want to invest, yes, mutual fund could be. But now I think there are few thousand mutual funds. You will have to learn which kind of mutual fund you need to invest in. Few thousand mutual funds are there. How would you decide that again? So you need to learn that. You can take support
Yes.
from our team. I have a colleague, his name is Nazim Rangwala. He has a workshop scheduled, a complimentary workshop scheduled. That's sharing knowledge about the financial planning, about the insurances, about the mutual funds. You can take support of him. I think my colleagues can share that detail on this already on our Facebook and in our YouTube. You can attend his webinar, and you will learn a great deal of. He's been having, I think, almost 17 years of experience in fund management and financial planning. A great giver and amazing person. Please do join his webinar.
Yeah.
And
And we have.
he's part of Praj Academy as well as a mentor also. Yeah.
And yes, and we have that link running in the details below, that how people can approach you and attend your workshop. So we have a very relevant question coming from Salesh, that how to inspire kids. We earlier talked about that how we can start early investing and things in school and college. So question is how to inspire kids to save or invest money and not
Well,
spend. Any best practice?
I think he has asked $1 billion question, because ultimately, the motto of the real education, what you are dreaming, like to educate people, to make them grow, and the Praj Academy, which wants to create 1 million millionaire, our motto is the same. And Salesh has asked this question so aptly right now. So how you can inspire your kids? One, Sailesh, you can ask your kids to start reading books. The one book I would like to recommend for kids, in fact, I read that a little later, and I generally gift that to kids I meet. The book name is The Richest Man in Babylon. Right? It's a book written for kids and very nicely explained how uh, a a, a brass utensil maker became the richest man in Babylon somewhere around 4,000 years back. And it's amazingly, kids will find it very interesting. That could be one. Another way to teach them how to play Monopoly. Again, I learned that from my mentor, Robert Kiyosaki. And if you involve your kids in Monopoly, that will teach them in their subconscious mind, what is investment, what is spending, and everything on that. And Salesh, watch out. Nazim and my team are working on creating workshops and webinars for kids, and we will be involving that kind of learning methodology. And because you can take up one session for kids like this, that will be my request to you.
Yeah, definitely we can do that. And that's actually the purpose, that so many school or the colleges may want to implement, the head of the institution may want to induce this knowledge in their students, but they can start from, so they can definitely refer to this book. Any other recommendation for elder ones, like on best books on investing or wealth creation, that you want to recommend them?
So wealth creation investing is the second aspect of it. The first aspect is first, uh, how to have a mindset to be thinking of that you want to be an investor or rather an entrepreneur, right? If that is there, then secondary, it becomes very secondary, which all books, there are plenty, right? Any book is useful then. So read a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Okay.
That book will change your perception. That's amazing book. And I have already been providing education to MBA students and commerce or postgraduate in MCom and BCom students in the area of financial freedom or a new way of looking at money and wealth. So because this your initiative can take it to the schools and colleges also, for which we'll be creating workshops. And
And actually, we have a specific question coming from Manish Chavda on the what courses your academy offer, and probably or different people how they can get benefited.
Wonderful. So you can go to our website. Our website name is prajacademy.com and prajinvestments.com. Both the websites will lead you to various courses, but I'll roughly tell you there is a course of 1 day, which is we call crash course. This is happening on July 12th. And this course is managed by Pooja Patil. I think the numbers you can even search on Google. You will find she's a very popular person, a very young entrepreneur, an electronics and telecom engineer, but an entrepreneur. So she would guide you in that workshop. Then we have a 6 months workshop called GTI. Now GTI is a Gamma Trading and Investing. I call it the graduation of your trading and investing journey. Like we took the word Gamma from Vasco da Gama, right? Exploring what it is all about, how to do it professionally. So GTI is one workshop. Then there are options trading and investing workshops that go for 6 months. Then there is a 1 month long investment related workshop where you deeply find out how to invest in the stock market or in capital market. That also talks about forensic audit of the companies, right? Their account system and accounting systems. And Train Your Brain is a psychology workshop. That's again a 1 day workshop. When I'm saying 6 months, it's like 3 days in a hotel or online. And then you have, mentoring sessions on Tuesday evenings and Thursday mornings like that. So there are various courses, Manish, you can take advantage of them. You can see that in our Facebook page or in our YouTube channel or in, our website, right?
Yes. And it seems, Mr. Joshi, that many people are getting interested in very specific question. I did not want to lose this question coming from Sweta. That, sir, for investing in ETF, should we put money in multiple ETFs or just Nifty or Bank Nifty? Please advise if sector side ETFs also make sense. Very specific. Must be a pro trader already.
Yeah, I mean, she has a knowledge about the ETFs. That's one aspect of it. At this point of time when financial sectors are down, that means the ETF of financial sectors, banking sectors would be down. You can get that at a very good price. Now, ETF, nobody invests for 1 year or 2 year, right? The ETFs are invested for 5 years, 10 years horizon. So that is available at a very good price. In sectors right now, pharma sector is doing good. So ETFs which are in the healthcare industries, that could be helpful to you. But in my view, I think pharma is already started becoming expensive. It has given a good run in last few months. After COVID, especially, it ran like a rocket. So otherwise, Nifty Bs is good. And if you want to hedge your portfolio, then you can buy gold Bs. That could be another ETF for you, right? So again, you can in for our financial planning webinars. You will get more knowledge in that. Or you can also join me tomorrow on my live show. It's called Stock Market Ke Baad MJ Ke Saath. It's every Saturday, 9:15 to 10 o'clock, 45-minute show. We only talk about the stock market, whatever questions you have got. We answer everything on that. Every Saturday, it is there on my Facebook page as well as on YouTube. You will get the link of that. You're welcome to join and ask me questions.
I'm sure this answered all their question, and it's an ongoing question. We are getting more and more question, but we need to respect that time. It is already past that time, and your time is very valuable. We all understand. So, any last message for our audience that during this time or throughout their life, what they can do and live a better life?
Wonderful. So, I mean, this is a subject possibly I can talk for the whole day, but you said few lines, so I'll have to think now again. So, one is never wait for any opportunity, jump for an opportunity the moment you got realization that you need to do it, right? So, investing, you should start immediately. Learning, you should start immediately. And don't get worried for COVID or anything else. We have been surviving, we will survive, everybody will survive. Yes, there will be difficult times. You need to keep on learning such that you can deal with those difficult times powerfully. Keep on spending time with your family, stay safe, stay at home, ensure that you are healthy, wealthy, happy, joyous, and feel great about it.
Thanks, Mr. Joshi, for your time, and I'm sure people have really got benefited. And this is just a live session. These videos will be there on the channel, and people must be contacting you again for your further queries, and they need your consistent guidance through your courses and through your live webinars. I'm really thankful to you that you take out time to join this program on our show.
I would love to. I would love to answer their questions. I have an entire team to serve them, and we are around. We are on the social media, and I'm learning to be. I've been a very shy guy, and I've been learning to be in front of the camera now, talking to the people. And yes, we are there to serve you. Shoot your questions in Facebook or in YouTube or anywhere in social media for us. Our people will support you in all times.
So thanks for you for coming to the show, and we'll say bye bye to you. Right?
Sure. Thank you for inviting, and thank you for making a difference in lives of many people with us. It has been a pleasure. It's been honor to be in your show. I loved it.